No one on. And I started, except one person came on after, and I started inviting you guys. And because I invited you, you were able to be blessed by the stress presentation and also the other presentation after. And so I want you to follow my example. Follow my example, and you're going to forward the link that I sent to you, and I thank you in advance. Also, I am going to invite I'm on TikTok. If you look on TikTok, you see me squeezing lemon in my eyes on TikTok. And I share that we know that men, because we were conditioned to not cry, we have problem with our eyes. Can you imagine that? We were conditioned from we were small. When we fall, our father and sometimes are the same, sometimes our mother. Our mother would say, don't cry, you're a man. What they call it? That we must hold that emotion in. Can you imagine that? We were taught as men to hold that emotion in. And so when our wife, or when we are in a situation where we are called to cry or show that emotion, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do because we were conditioned by our family not to cry, right? We were conditioned by the men in our family to not to cry. So when we're with our wife and our wives are going through certain things and we are supposed to cry, we don't know what to do. Oh, mercy. So men, squeeze a little more lemon in your eyes and you will cry more. You will literally cry. It will burn you and you will cry. And so welcome to my Goer family on TikTok. Today we're going to talk to you about the price of ignorance. The price of ignorance. If I grew up going to my bed after eating my biggest meal, then today, if I did not make the necessary changes, then I would have a big belly. And do you know big belly is a risk factor for all the disease, even the disease that affect my wife, erectile dysfunction. Can you imagine that? Big belly is a cause and can be a cause or a risk factor for erectile dysfunction. So I have my wife and I am not doing my manly job. Can you imagine that? Because I grew up going to bed with the food, that big plate of food in my tummy, and my body cannot process, or because my tummy needs to sleep also. It's not like I can take my tummy and put it somewhere else, right? I can remove my tummy and put it, say, you go ahead, tummy, you go ahead and digest that food, right? Go ahead and digest that food, right? No, my tummy needs to sleep. And so the best way to manage that, if your habits that are part of your lifestyle is to eat that big meal, make sure that you have enough time for the food to digest, for you to go to bed on a empty stomach, right? That's the best thing you can do for that big belly. That big belly, when you go to the gym and you run and you do all these exercise and it's not going anywhere, man, it just stand up right there and it's not moving. You might need to look at the time that you're eating your last meal, right? You might have to do so, all right? And so ignorance can kill you dead. Do you know if you oversleep 9 hours or more, research shows that if you sleep more than 9 hours, your risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all of these diseases, your risk factor goes up for these diseases. So if if you're sleeping too much, you need to wake yourself up. You can use your right hand and wake yourself up. So let's look at the price of ignorance. The price of ignorance. So as it reads, the price of ignorance. A health and spiritual self-assessment. So I want you to get your pen and paper. Get your pen wherever you are. Get your pen and paper to find out. We need to find out if your ignorance is killing you. And so get your pen and paper if you want to put it on your phone. Whatever you want to do. Get your pen and paper. So my people, from our manual, and when we look in our manual to Hosea 4:6, it says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Right? So the wrong knowledge the lack of knowledge can kill you. Right? If they tell you that you should take a certain medication for your diabetic and you've been taking that medication for years, for as they say, donkey years, that medication can cause other issues. You're not getting better because you have to make some changes. If you're not making some lifestyle changes, then you might have to stay on that medication. That medication might be keeping you alive, and so you might need to take that medication for life until you decide to find out what is the cause of your disease. Whatever disease, all the disease that you have, there is a cause. There's a cause, so we need to find that cause. This questionnaire, so it's a questionnaire is designed to bridge the gap between biblical wisdom and modern scientific findings from the AHS1. So there's a group of people that were studied, and they are being studied from I think 1968 or 78, somewhere around there. And because of their lifestyle, and because where they are able to give a balance, give you balanced information on how to deal with the modern disease. The modern disease like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, lung issue, all of these different diseases. And so we're going to look at this questionnaire. Please get your pen and paper. These studies have consistently shown that following so there are 8 laws of health can add up to a decade of quality life. Think about that. It didn't say 8 to 10 years of miserable, full of pain, can't breathe, have to be in the hospital constantly. This is talking about you're on vacation, you're able to take yourself on vacation without worrying about, okay, I need to take my medication. I can't go up these steps. I can't manage. Oh, mercy. There's a gentleman. I don't know if he's still alive. There's a gentleman who follows these laws. He was 103, I believe, or 94. And what he did, every day he goes up and down his steps. Every single day. He took a break at 94 and he went up the step and came back down because he found out that going up the step and coming back down also increased blood circulation and keep him movement, right? Keep him moving. And so following these simple laws. You don't have to pay for these laws. You don't have to, perhaps because they are too simple, that's why we tend not to follow them. 8 laws of health, they call them. 8 laws of health. It says ignorance of these laws is not a BLISS. Right? BLISS. BLISS. I'm repeating because I only can do one thing at a time. Sister Marie, I'm going to make you host. Please co-host me, right? Change host, yes. All right. So, ignorance of these laws is not a bliss. It is a physiological depth that leads to chronic disease and premature death. Some of us are helping ourselves, are killing ourselves by not breathing in properly and by not going to bed at the right time, or not drinking enough liquid, or not eating enough liquid from the food. We're not eating like the elephant. If we want to live strong and big like the elephant, we need to eat the food that the elephant is eating. Right? Right? Let me move on. Ignorance of these laws is not bliss. It is a physiological depth that leads to chronic disease and premature death. And before you die, you have to find the money to give whom you need to give those money to see if they can treat you. So you're not going to just, bam, fall dead. No, no, no. They have to get some money from you. You have to pay some money. You might have to get some money from the to do some radiation. You might have to give some money to get heart transplant. You might have to get some money to get your head capped off and your brain removed. Right? You have to spend some money. Right? So you're not just going to die just like that. Right? So here we're gonna score. Scoring. This is a scoring. So if you say yes to any of these questions, you're gonna put 10 points. Right? You're just gonna put 10 because we're gonna do some maths today. We're gonna do some maths. Right? 10 points. If you say no, just put a big, I want you to follow me. You put a big 0. Right? You're going to put a big, let me repeat, you're going to put a big 0. Right? For each. So if you, let me repeat, if you say yes, you are going to do what? Put a big fat 10. If you say no, you're going to remove that 1 and leave it as 0. So let's move on. We're going to try. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 points. So the first question is under nutrition. Because we're looking at the 8 laws of health. We call it Start New. I am going to call it Start New. Where the N in new represent nutrition. So Start New. And this is the fuel. So question 1. What's the first question? Do you consume strictly plant-based diet? So that means no fish. Right? Some of us put fish. I don't know because the fish is, some of the fish are plant-based. I don't know if some of the fish are plant-based. But when we say plant-based, some of us say, but I eat fish. No fish. Right? Some of us say we put egg. We put egg. Right? Some of us put egg. Right? And egg comes from an animal, so it must be total, they call it vegan, but we know that vegan comes with all kind of stuff. Let's put it plant-based or plantarian. Can we call it plantarian? That means it's totally plant unprocessed, right? So if it's number 1, Like I am totally plant-based, right? And it's yes. Should I put a 10 or should I put a 0? Let's see. I should put a yes because I am totally plant-based. So I get a big fat 10. So put on your paper 10. Let's move on. Let's see how many we can go through. And the reason for this, the Adventist Health Study 2 shows vegans have a lower risk of obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. Animal fats are linked to ischemic heart disease. And so if you want to be ignorant, if you want to be ignorant, right? Go ahead and continue eating animal fats. Then guess what? Few years down the road, you go to your doctor and your doctor say, you know, we might have to do a triple bypass, right? And then they cut your chest open, or you might be driving and the next time you wake up, you're in the hospital with a tube in your mouth, with a big plaster on your chest because they had to go in and saw your chest open and put this metal thing inside of your ribs. It's not ribs, your chest. And tear your chest apart to get to your heart. Continue. Be ignorant and say, oh, I can continue eating my plant-based food. I want you to continue doing so. Be ignorant, right? So that's number one. Number two, do you avoid processed sugars and refined flours? Give yourself a 0 if it's no. Give yourself a 10 if it's yes. Do you avoid processed sugar and refined flour? Right? Moving on. Number 2. Why? Refined carbs spikes insulin. Remember, refined carbs spikes insulin because it has no fiber in it. Best you try and eat in the sugar cane. Do you guys know the sugar cane? You know what a cane looks like, right? Right? You know what a cane looks like. If you know what a cane looks like, for them to get a few grains of sugar, they had to process so many sugar canes, right? They had to process a lot of cane. No, you cannot sit down and eat that amount of cane that is used to make that amount of sugar. And so your sugar has no fiber in it, and so the body say, hey, we are getting sugar. It has no fiber in it because they had to remove the fiber so that it can stay on the shelf longer, right? And so when the fiber is removed, you have issue going to the toilet. When there's no fiber in the food, you will have issue going to the toilet. You will go and get your book and you start to read, right? You start at the beginning, right? And you're reading, and you're reading, and you're at the end. You're at the end, right? You're at the end, and I'm wondering, did anything came out? Houston, did anything came out? Let me move on. So refined carbs spikes insulin, leading to systemic inflammation and metabolic syndrome. So that creates an environment for disease right there. Number three question. Third question. Is your plate at least 50% fiber-rich vegetables and fruits? Is your plate at least 50% fiber-rich vegetables and fruits? If yes, give yourself 10 fingers. If no, give yourself 0. Right? Reason. High fiber intake is inversely associated with colon cancer and cardiovascular mortality. And so continue to be ignorant on saying, I don't need to eat fruits, I don't need to eat vegetables, I don't need to put them on my plate, and you will create your own cancer, colon cancer. That means you cannot go. If something is wrong with your colon, you cannot go. You may not be able to digest the food. That means you have created a toxic where you cannot win. And so please make sure that before you eat anything that is cooked, you eat something that is raw and live. I'm not talking about animal. I'm talking eat, for example, in the morning. This morning I had 2 apples and a banana. Everything has seed right there. Banana should have seed. Banana should have seed. If you look at the banana and there is just no seed in the banana, I don't know what it is. Right? And so I ate my fruit. So what that did was cause my system not to attack if I decide to eat cooked food. Right? My white blood cell doesn't multiply because the body knows what it needs. Funny thing, I was looking at it and I was thinking sometimes something still happening in the brain. The gears still move over sometimes, family, right? And so I was thinking, in our manual, in Genesis 1:29, it talks about what kind of food we were commanded to eat. What food from the trees, right? Food from the trees. And so when we know, being conditioned after many generations, instead of we eating the food of the tree, we are now cooking the food. When did we get to cook the food? Right? We cook everything. As I shared with you, someone had stew mangoes. When did we start to stew the mangoes that is already prepared, already cooked naturally by the sun? Right? The mango was naturally cooked by the sun. And then we take the mango and we put season on it. We might put curry on it. We might even add sugar to it and salt and black pepper and all of these spices to it because our tongue has been corrupted. Right? And so now we are cooking the food. And so when we cook the food and try to eat that food, the body knows. So the body say, hey, this is not what we are original. This is not the original meal. And so the white blood cell, literally your white blood cell that defends the body from invasion, it multiplies rapidly to say, hey, food, hey, this is not, we don't know what this is. That's what the body is saying, family. The body is saying that we don't know what this is. And so it multiplies rapidly. Your white blood cell multiply rapidly to say, hey, we're going to defend this body. You know, it's war, right? And it multiply and defend the body. But if you continue to eat cooked food, then you need to put in place things that will normalize that increase in white blood cell. And they found out that when you eat something raw, so if you say you're eating a bowl of cereal that you throw hot, like cereal, like porridge or whatever it call me, whatever it is, cereal, whatever it is, before you eat that cooked food, make sure that you eat something raw. It might be a mango, it might be a banana, it might be whatever it is. Chew that, and what that does, it prepares the body to absorb the cooked food. That's what it does. So no matter what you are eating, cook. Make sure that if you're eating rice and peas and rice, depending on where you are, if you're going to eat curry, cabbage, or turmeric, whatever it is, you will eat perhaps a piece of carrot, right? Chew up something live first before you eat something, and your body will react differently. Right? Your body will react differently. So high fiber intake, going back to your question, we're on the third question. It says, and the third question was what? Is your plate at least 50% fiber rich vegetable fruits? High fiber intake is inversely associated with colon cancer and cardiovascular mortality. That means your heart will attack you. Did you know that some of us heart attack them? Our heart is constantly under abuse, right? We constantly attack our heart. Finally the heart say, hey, I can't deal with it, I cannot deal with it, I am going to attack you. Right? And so, and this month is Heart Health Month for ladies. Heart Health Month for ladies. I know that men, husband, sometimes you stress your wife so much that her heart attack her. Oh, mercy. Men, please don't attack your wife. It might be the things that we do or say, and oh, please, men, be an example. We know who is the example, Christ. Right? He said we must love them with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, and with all our strength. And yet that love must not depend on what they do. You understand what I'm saying? That will release stress, reduce stress on both sides, because you don't have any expectation from your lover anyway. Oh, that's one of the secrets. I want you to write it down. Right, men, write it down somewhere. Love your wife without any expectation. Even if she wants to kill you, love her same way, right? I hope she won't kill you. I kill, yes. So even though, I don't know, just a minute, family, let me see. I don't know what this is. Invite. Okay. All right, all of these stuff. All right, I'm just looking at my TikTok here. All right, so next question, number 4. We just reached number 4. Let's do number 4. Number 4, do you consume legumes, beans, and lentils? Do you consume legumes, beans, and lentils daily? So the more you eat and how you prepare the legumes and the beans and the lentils, you have to put them to soak. Right? When I was growing up, my mother used to put kidney beans, that red beans, kidney beans, they say it's good for the kidney, right? She used to soak that kidney beans overnight. She used to soak it in water overnight, but she did not throw the water out. So that water was needed to make the rice. So she was putting it in the rice so that the rice could have the same reddish color as the kidney beans. And guess what? We were being ignorantly, I can't say mom was indirectly wanted to kill us. I can't say mommy wanted to kill us. But she don't know. She was ignorant. We needed to throw that substance, that pool of of a liquid that has been, that the beans were in, all of the acid and all these stuff is placed into the water, and that is, it's toxic. So she needed to throw that water out and rinse the beans, and don't worry about allowing the rice to be red, right? And so ignorance was killing us, and we didn't know. And so we should soak the beans, throw the water out. We can continue soak it again. After soaking it, that releases, we get bloated, or we pass a lot of gas because of the beans. Some of us have issues eating beans because our body, we might have to eat a little at a time, but make sure that you soak your beans. You can soak the beans and wash them properly, and you can put them in the fridge, a freezer. When you need it, you can cook it, right? Or you can sprout it. We have, I don't know if we have Dr. Natalie on, but she's supposed to be doing sprouting, and she loves to sprout. She's a live nutritionist, right? I don't know if she's on. Can I look over there to see if she's on?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath, my sister. So welcome, Dr. Raw. She's a raw chef. I mean, she eats everything raw, and you believe she's 32 years old. She's not 32. She's more than 32. And so we are going to do a class with her, do sport. We're doing stuff together, right? And she's going to share it on the family here. And she's on TikTok. She makes some delicious meals. If you look at my TikTok and look for Dr. Natalie, you will see she would share different meals, and they're all raw. Right? I've been telling her to share it and send me a package, but because they're raw, they might get spoiled before they get to New York. And so we have to work out. We might have to zap it, take a picture of it, and send it through fax to get it here. And then I put some stuff on it to eat it, right? All right, back to the presentation. Focus, Mr. Linton. All right, so number 4, do you consume legumes, beans, and lentils? So you might have to sprout them, but soak them if you have issue eating them, and you might have to integrate different herbs that helps them to digest, right? So that's number 4. So we're looking at ignorance. Can ignorance cause your death? Legumes are a hallmark of blue zone. So blue zone, if you get a chance, when you stop swiping and look into put in your search engine the word blue, BLOE, put a space, ZONE, blue zone, you will find out that the longest, healthiest living people are in that group. It's a location where the people live long and healthy. And the study, the Adventist Health Study, the individuals who are from that study also are part of the blue zone. And this is what was the organ? National Geography went around the world looking at location where the people are living long and healthy. And so they found out that in Loma Linda, California, there's a group of people that lives where we live. That means they live, and there is all of these fast food. Despite the fast food around them, they still live up to their hundreds. 104 years old. She might be not alive now, but she was going for a driver's license at 104 years old. Can you imagine that? Right? 104 years old, and she was still driving on the road by herself. And so we need to live long and healthy, not for yourself, so that we can help our brothers and sisters. Because if you're dead, you are sick. If you're dead and sick, you cannot help the person who needs your help. All right? So, legumes are a hallmark of blue zone longevity and provide stable protein without cholesterol. And we hear about animal cholesterol that is clogging our system up. That's what they say. But plant-based food, they don't come with cholesterol. Blessings, muting. All right, let's move on. So we are up to 4. So if you have gotten 40 points thus far, you're not ignorant. But if you have gotten 0 points, when you add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, you will get 0. There's no way around that maths. If you're getting 0, 0, 0, 0, then perhaps you are ignorant. And ignorant is helping to kill you. So you need, because of this platform, you can't say you are ignorant no more. Can I repeat that? You're ignorant no more. Ignorant no more. That's a I-N-M. I-N-M. Ignorant no more. I-N-M. Im. Can we call it im? We can call it im. I don't know. I make up this crazy stuff. So let's move on. So legumes are hallmark, blue zone longevity and provide stable protein. I read that. Number 5, do you avoid snacking between meals? But you might ask a question. You might ask a question. What happened if it's a raw cheesecake? Totally plant-based raw cheesecake. If I decide to snack on a raw, or say a handful of nuts, or an apple. No, the terminology or the definition of snacking is... Do I need to mute everyone? Tech team, please help, assist. Anyone comes in, just locate and mute. Thank you. All right. So where was I? Sitting here, right? I was here, sitting here looking, right? And Sister Natalie shared in the chat how to go about process. Let me read it for my TikTok followers. After soaking your beans overnight and washing your beans, cook with bay leaf to help cut back being gassy. Okay. So if you want to get rid of the gas, bay leaf. B-A-Y-L-E-A-F. Bay leaf. Cook it with bay leaf. Right? And that reduce some of the gas. If you are home, then you can accept your gassiness. But if you live with someone else, they might not accept your gassiness. And so that's a tip right there, right? Thank you, Dr. Natalie. Now, moving on. Do you avoid snacking? So, definition of snack. So, you have breakfast. I don't even know where we get breakfast and lunch and dinner from. By right, you're supposed to eat. If your body is working correctly, if your system is aligned, then you should be hungry at the same time if you have a routine, right? And so your body will tell you that you're hungry. You will know that you're hungry, right? But because we have been conditioned to say breakfast, you have to eat breakfast at a certain time. Lunch, you might not be 12 o'clock, you might not be hungry, but they are who benefit from us eating so much more, right? And then we eat in the afternoon because we have been conditioned. We might not be hungry. Sometimes we are not hungry, but because we are conditioned, we are going to eat something. So snacking, even if it's healthy, even if it is healthy. Yeah, I'm going to put a H on it, right? Even if it's healthy. If it's between breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or you get up in the night. So if it's between breakfast, lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Why I say breakfast is because I'm looking from your dinner coming back over. You wake up in the middle of the night and say, I'm hungry. Do you know I'm hungry? And so you get up in the night because you did not have a good dinner, right? And so breakfast, lunch, and anything between there, because it takes, let's say if you eat correctly and at the right food, then it should take you to 4 to 5 hours to digest. So 4 to 5 hours after the first meal, which is breakfast, is the biggest meal, because you need energy to work for the rest of the day. You don't need the energy when you don't need to work in the afternoon, right? You're going to bed, so you don't need the fuel to go to bed, right? You need nothing to go to bed. You just go and sleep, right? So you need say we take 4 to 5 hours to get that food that we ate at break at in the morning, right? That means the next meal is supposed to 4 to 5 hours. So if you eat something between, if this food is being digested, and you ate something right at like 2 hours into that meal being digested, what's gonna happen is that the body say, okay, we have detected something new. We what they say in TV, Houston, we have
Now it's a
detected.
part of, yeah, it's a part of the character now. So,
Brother Errol, mute. Can somebody mute Brother Errol? I can't move my hand. Muting Errol. Errol, muting yourself. Mute. I'm going to remove all the hosts from everyone that is on. The co-host, because you're not assisting. All right. So I was here. So if you ate something at break, right? Breakfast. And 2 hours, the breakfast should take 4.5 hours. Follow my fingers. So we should be eating 4.5 hours down here, right? But we perhaps we didn't eat. Well, let's not jump there. But after eating this food, 2 hours into the next food, 2 hours into the next food, you decide to, oh man, that food look delicious. Let me eat that. What the body does, what the system does, is say, hey, we need to stop digest this food because there is a new food coming in, and we need to get that new food to where this food is. And so it stopped digesting that food, and then it start digesting that food. This food has to wait for this food now to get to that consistency. So that food meets this food and it continue digesting. So instead of the 4.5 hours for this food that was eaten first, because you ate this food now, this food put another 4.5 hours on this food. And so they found out that if now you eat that food and then 12 o'clock, even though you ate 2 hours into that first food, and then you know you're going to eat 2 hours in the second food, then that food delays, and they found out that your breakfast that you ate in the morning, when they check your system 12 o'clock perhaps in the night, you still have the food that you were digesting there in the morning. So snacking is, why do we snack? Is it because habit? Is it because the food that we ate wasn't full of the right nutrients, and so we decide to snack? So when we are snacking, guess what? We are killing our stomach. Remember, I don't think they start putting in new stomach in the stomach. And I don't think you're able to replace the stomach. So you have one stomach. I know a cow has more than one stomach, but you were created with one stomach, and you need to take care of it because you don't get it. It's not like you get a new one. Well, I think if you eat correctly, your cells are replaced. But you only have one stomach. Remember that. So, Dr. Natalie. So that was Sister Natalie. So we have two Natalies pronouncing the same way. So we have Sister Natalie and we have Dr. Natalie. When you eat between meals, you prevent the migrating motor complex. I have looked up that MMC. I have looked at that yesterday doing this, and it's inside of this presentation, Dr. Natalie. I'm looking at my chat over there, and I'm reading so that you're able to hear, right? So it's migrating motor complex from cleaning the stomach. It only works between meals. That's why, sister, why it says 5 hours between meals. All right, let's move on. Thank you for sharing that. Do you avoid snacking? And it says, so if you avoid snacking, give yourself 10 points. So you have 50 points thus far, right? And the reason, constant snacking prevents the stomach from, here it is, from resting and interferes with the MMC, migrating motor complex for digestion. So when you snack, you're being ignorant. No, you cannot say you're ignorant anymore. You wonder why your stomach is hurting you. It's because you're putting food in the stomach that the stomach is not ready for. Right? Next question. Do you prioritize whole grains over white bread rice? Now that's a question mark there, because we know that our grains, depending on the grains, they have been changed. And so we might have to cross out this one. All right, you have to make sure that the grain that you're getting is not ibonized. It was not changed. Remember that, right? And so I'm skipping over that one. Do you limit? You can do wild rice. If you can get wild rice is good, right? Sister Mary Errol raises hand. Do you prioritize whole grains over? No, sorry. Moving forward. Do you limit salt intake to under 2,300 milligrams daily? So do you limit salt intake? So salt, we have table salt that has 2 minerals and other minerals, aluminum and other stuff for they do all kind of stuff with the salt. We need to have whole salt. We still need salt. The cardiovascular system still need it. For us to get stuff in and out of the body, we still need whole salt. So the pretty one, the one that is pretty, and you're able to shake it out, we need to get the one that maybe the pink one or the other one that starts with C, Celtic sea salt, or whole salt, or perhaps make your own salt, or eat food. I know celery is high in sodium, so you have to, sister, brother Caleb, technical. So Sister Mary has the host, so please contact her. All right. So do you limit salt intake? So we still need it. We still need whole salt. WHOLE salt. We need it in its natural form, as close to nature as possible, because the table salt is unbalanced. So when you use it, it unbalances our system, right? When the doctor says stay away from salt, a lack of salt causes high blood pressure. Did you know that? Yes, a lack of salt causes high blood pressure, but we need whole salt. Let me repeat. We need whole salt. All right, so ignorance can cause your blood pressure to be high. Ignorance of not using the correct salt, ignorance of not using salt can cause your blood pressure to be high. No, let me put this in. Please consult your doctor before making any lifestyle changes. This is for educational purpose only. All right, I said it. Let's move on. So reason, high sodium is a primary driver of hypertension and stroke. High sodium is a primary driver of hypertension and stroke. So whole salt has other minerals. Depending on what it is, it has up to 90 something or 90 something minerals. And these minerals complement each other and balances this sodium. But when you put sodium and chlorine, sodium and chlorine, that is a dangerous thing, right? That is a dangerous mixture right there. Moving on. Do you eat your largest meal in the morning or midday? Put 10 points. So far you should have, if you remove one of the 6. Alright, let's put it in. If you use grains, whole grains that are not hibernized, or you make your own grains, or grow your own grains, or it's locally grains, then we give you 10 points. So do you eat your largest meal in the morning or midday? 10 points if you do so, 0 points if you don't. Moving on. Circadian rhythm. This is the reason why. Circadian rhythm dictates that metabolism is most efficient during daylight hours. Late eating promotes fat storage. Hear what you say. So if you're diabetic, right? It's best you eat your meals in the morning when the sunlight is at the maximum, when it's just coming in. Right? Because hear what it says? Late eating promotes fat. So that stomach that you've been fighting with. I've been talking about the stomach, right? Because if your circumference of your stomach, your belly is a certain amount, your risk factor goes up. I've been in where I'm from, that country that we are from. Might not be my country alone, but other country, when the gentleman gets married, and after a few years, if he's not looking fat, if the husband not looking fat, we say that the wife is not taking care of the husband, right? In fact, the wife is taking care of the husband, because that extra weight, that extra belly, that extra everything, that means that's an increase in cell. You have more cell, that means you need more blood work, that means you need more blood. You need a lot of more things when you gain an extra 10 or 20 pounds or whatever it is. And so it is not a blessing, family. And so if we have the education, this team, we have the lifestyle educators, we have so many of them that is on, that if you need assistance in getting to where you need to be, the future you, look at yourself as a future healthy you. Then if you need to get to that, email me, send me your information, and I will connect you to the lifestyle experts, right? That will coach you to where you need to be, right? So circadian rhythm dictates that metabolism is most efficient during daylight hours. Late eating promotes fat storage, family. So stop eating late. Moving on. Do you avoid charred or deep fried foods? Right? Do you avoid charred, CHARRED, or deep frying foods? Do you know when you do that, you're converting the food into, it's a chemical change or biological change. Because if you put sweet plantain, ripe plantain into oil, if you put ripe plantain or ripe banana into oil, fry hot oil, you're converting that ripe plantain or whatever you're frying into oil. That's what you're doing. You're converting the food, you're forcing the food at high heat to become oil. And so when you eat it, the body, instead of the body, say you are doing dumplings, fried dumplings, right? And the carbs, is the majority of the dumpling is carbs, right? Majority of the dumpling is carbs. But what the body detect? Oil. The body detect oil. Carbs are digested in the mouth. But because you convert that dumpling into oil, the body is not, the senses are not detecting the flour or the carbs. All it is detecting, Mr. Linton, this is oil that you're eating, right? And because it is oil, we need to consult the brain to tell the brain to prepare the small intestine that the bladder communicates with the pancreas that produces bile that comes from the liver so that it can break down that oil. And so the food is digested in the wrong, or the carbs, no, because the carbs is oil, it just sent through the digestive, through the stomach into the small intestine, and then when the oil is break down, the small intestine say, hey, we have undigested carbs down here, What happened? Because you decide to fry the food. Where we get this frying food? Our taste buds rules us, and our bacteria in our stomach direct how we think. Did you know that? What we eat affects our thinking and how we think. Because these bacteria produce certain chemicals that affects us mentally. And so we stop we keep eating the same thing over, and we wonder, but this is not healthy for me. Why am I eating it? It's because the bacteria, the flora in your stomach or intestine has hijacked your brain. And if they don't get what they want, guess what? Your belly, your tummy starts to hurt. You wonder, why my tummy hurting? It's because the bacteria decided, hey, you did not give me what I want. Oh, we need to study. We need to stop being ignorant about this body that we have. Let me look at my time. All right, let's move on. So we're at number 9. Do you avoid charred or deep fried foods? That barbecue, we barbecue and we burn the thing black. We burn the food black. We're creating carcinogen. We're killing ourselves. Oh, mercy. Reason. Why am I laughing? Heterocyclic, right? Heterocyclic. I'm going to spell it for my TikTok followers. HETEROCYCLIC amines and acrylamides are carcinogenic compounds formed at high heat, right? So when we fry in hot oil and we barbecue at high heat, we are creating carcinogenic compounds that causes cancer. And number 10. So if you have put 10 thus far? Oh yes, Chef Natalie said baking because 350 degrees is high temperature, right? Number 10, do you chew is not the train your food thoroughly 20 plus time per bite. So there's a reason why these bones are protruding out of the gum. They are there to bite anything that comes. They are designed, if you notice, they're blocking anything. They're blocking anything from coming through. You notice that? They're designed that way that anything that comes, if I decide to put my finger in my mouth, I need to bite it because it has come into the domain of my teeth, right? And so, environment. So that means anything that comes in needs to be bitten or chewed, right? And so if you put anything in there and you cannot chew it, it shouldn't come in, it shouldn't be inside the mouth. Right? Because just look at it. Let's analyze it. Your teeth are designed to move up and down. They're not just designed to make your face look good, but they're designed to prevent. So you notice it as a barrier to your throat. That means if you look sideways, if you still have your 32, then nothing should pass sideways or any way whatsoever. They are there to protect the throat from anything that is whole or even liquid, right? Anything that comes in the mouth, you need to chew it and chew it so that you are not able to identify it and it becomes saliva. That means anything that comes in the mouth must be chewed until it's saliva. You should not be able to identify it between your saliva. You know what your saliva tastes like, right? It has no taste. And so I just taste mine just now. And so when you finish chewing, that means when we must not be in a hurry to chew our food. That means our time we must sit down and relax, a little background music playing, and we are relaxing and we are taking our time. We throw away the phone and throw away the TV and throw away that angry person, and you're taking a little bite. We tend to put big chunks and the body cannot maneuver correctly and we tend to swallow. So we eat small amount, and so when we finish chewing that, it becomes saliva, right? Totally liquid. And so that we are getting maximum out of the food, and then we swallow it. We should not be introducing the stomach with the same food that is outside. The same food that we pick or eat outside on our plate should not get to the stomach. It must be totally transformed from us chewing. Right? Sorry. It must be totally transformed from us chewing. And so today, this morning, as you sit down to eat, get some small knife and fork and smooth so that you're not tempted to put this big chunk of food in your mouth. It must be small amount so that you can chew it properly and enjoy, and just follow it around. Just imagine you following the food around your mouth. Be in present. Don't think about next week or tomorrow, all this stuff. No. Be right there. Be present when you're chewing your food. And I need to work on that too, not just you alone, right? Because our habits, we have been conditioned growing up. We have been conditioned growing up that we need to cut the food and just swallow it. No, we are damaging the stomach. We are damaging the cells in the body. And so today, if you have not decided yet, I want you to start to chew your food properly. So do you chew your food thoroughly? Chew it, bite it, taste it, so that your senses, your saliva can mix with it and allow your taste bud to analyze it, and so that your food, your body can prepare itself for that food, because it say, okay, you're eating tomato, Mr. Linton. All right, I taste that. We see that there is this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J different nutrients. Okay, all right, stomach, I want you to turn up the hydrochloric acid a little. Is eating tomatoes. All right, liver, I want you to produce this type of this amount of bile, because I detect a little oil in the tomato. All right, my pancreatic enzyme, my pancreatic, okay, I want you to produce these type of enzyme to finalize breakdown. Perhaps the bacteria that lines the wall of my intestine might say, oh, you know, I see movement up top. I see the pancreas is producing certain enzyme. I wonder if it's tomatoes. That would be fun if we are getting tomatoes. That's what the bacteria might be saying. And so when we chew the food properly and allow it to masticate the food properly, it causes I think we had 9,000 different taste buds, I believe. Whatever it is, the body can analyze it, and the tongue is there, just move the food around in our mouth. And so we are digesting the food properly, not cutting and swallowing, and then when we go to the toilet, the same food that we did not digest goes straight in the toilet, and we wonder, what? Oh, that's a piece of leaf. What happened? It's because you did not chew the food properly. So number 10, looking at number 10, do you chew your food thoroughly? At least, no, when it becomes liquid. We want the food to become liquid. So I want you to drink your food and eat your liquid. Let me repeat. I want you to chew your liquid and drink your food. Yes, right? And so anything that you're drinking, you must be chewing it. Anything that you're drinking. And so some of us make smoothie. We need to chew it. That liquid must not pass through like you don't. We have your teeth and your gums and your saliva for a reason, to help to pre-digest or totally digest the food to a certain point. So your stomach you don't have to burden your stomach. That digests protein. It's not digesting a whole of pea, right? A whole of bean. It is already chewed up. And so we're going to learn to chew our food. If you don't do anything else today, I want you to start today. Get some small plates, right? So you so you have your big plate. I know some of us have some big plate, right? But get a small plate where you take some food off that big plate and if it's hanging off that small plate, you put back some other food. And I want you to sit down with that small plate, and then you're going to get small fork and small spoon and small knife, because you don't want to put big chunk in your mouth. And so you take a small amount and you put on your knife and fork, and you chew that food until you cannot taste it. You chew that food until you cannot taste it, and all you taste is your saliva, which has no taste, and then you swallow. And then you pick up back that food. You might say, well, where do I get the time from all these? What? No, family. If you're sick, you have to find the time. So before, we are doing prevention. So when you chew your food, digestion begins in the mouth, not in the stomach, family. Digestion starts when we smell the food, see the food, and the texture. It starts way before it gets into the stomach. So digestion begins in the mouth. Poor mastication leads to nutrients malabsorption. That one was tricky. malabsorption and gut dysbiosis. So today, I want you to chew. It starts in the brain. Yes, so the senses bring in the food into our brain before we get the food, right? The brain already analyzed the food. Thank you, Sister Sonia, for that. And so, if you have gotten 100 points, is that 100 points? So we only can cover 10 questions. So if you have gotten 100 points, then I want you to use this hand. You see this hand? And I want you to tap yourself on the back, right? Tap yourself on the back. If you got 100 points, that means you get 10 points. Now I want you to look through and see where you have not gotten that 10 points. And where you have a 0 is because of ignorance. And because you learn now, you cannot use ignorance anymore. It's all on you, right? It is all on you now. Because you cannot, with this 10 question, if you got 0 before, you could say, oh, I did not know. I can blame it on ignorance that I did not know. But no, you cannot. Going forward, starting here, moving forward, you cannot use ignorance. So if I should, 10 years from now, if I come around and ask you the same question. So let's look quickly on the first 10 questions. We're going to 100. So I'm here next week. So put it in your phone that you need to follow up. And I want you to make the changes this week. So the first one, do you consume a strict plant-based diet? Total plant-based diet. Live food, as Dr. Natalie, and there's so much doctors. Dr. Natalie says, the food can be raw but dead. That is true. The food can be raw but dead because they zap it, right? They zap the food, right? So do you consume a strict plant-based diet? That's number 1. Number 2, do you avoid processed sugar and refined flours? That's number 2. Number 3, is your plate at least 50% fiber-rich vegetable fruits? That's number 3. Number 4, do you consume legumes, beans, and lentils? Remember to soak it, or you can sprout it, right? That's number 4. Number 5, do you avoid snacking between meals because you prolong your digestive stomach, or you prolong your digestion, and it causes all kind of issue? You constantly, oh man, if you understand how much resources your stomach need when you put food in it. That's why the stomach sometimes, that's why the body say, oh, you need to go and sleep, man. We need to digest this. For this food is, after looking at this food, we need all the resources. Shut down the brain. And so you fall asleep, right? It's not because you want to sleep. It's because the body needs all the resources to digest that food. Number 6, do you prioritize whole grains over white bread? Now, white bread has no fiber in it. You know that, right? The whole grain, make sure that it's not iodized, right? Number 7, do you limit salt intake to under 2,300 milligrams? No, we need to do whole salt that has all the minerals in it. We still need salt. We still need sodium because the cardiovascular system needs it, the cell needs it, your entire body. If we don't have salt inside, are the properties of salt, sodium, our blood pressure will be high. Right? And Sister Natalie, Dr. Natalie, please put your TikTok, find your TikTok link and put it in the chat. Right? Put it in the chat. Sister Mary, if you can assist. Number 8, do you eat your largest meal in the morning or midday? Your breakfast must be your biggest meal. Pastor, you ready? do you avoid charred or deep fry foods? Please, co-host Pastor, please. Do you avoid charred or deep fried foods? Another 10 points right there. And the last one, do you chew your food thoroughly 20 times per bite? I say anything solid, you must turn it into liquid, and anything liquid, you must turn it into more liquid. You must chew it. All right, on that note, I'm going to pause there. And thanks to my TikTok family for coming on. I see you soon. All
Yes,
right.
I am right here, Courtney, but I can't open my camera.
So they need to co-host you, Pastor.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think Errol, are you Errol? You are the co-host. Please co-host, Pastor. So, family. No, I don't want that. Family, thanks. So my pastor is coming on to share. He's gonna ask you what you have learned, right? He's gonna say you've been here for how many years, and you're still have not integrate what you have learned or share what you have learned. I'm looking for who is the host, Pastor. Where's Errol? I'm not seeing who is the host.
I don't know.
I'm looking. I'm not seeing. I only see host, co-host. I'm not seeing host. Let me see. That's weird. Give me a time.